بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Irfan and I'm a foundational student at Islamabad campus. So today I come with the quality and our conversation to ChatGPT. So today's our topic is our topic is air breathing life in language. So first thing I to ChatGPT and then we start our conversation. Hello ChatGPT. Today I want to talk you on a topic air, the life of breathing in life language. So are you ready?
Absolutely, I'm ready. You can dive into the topic of AI and how it relates to breathing and living. Let me know if there's any specific angle or aspect you're curious about, and we can explore it in detail.
Okay, nice. So my first question to you is what does the phrase air breathing life in language means to you?
That's a great question. So the phrase AI and breathing in life language generally refers to how artificial intelligence can understand, interpret, and even mimic the complexities of living systems, including the way organisms breathe and exchange gases. In other words, it's about how AI can model or understand the vital processes of life and use that understanding in various applications like healthcare, robotics, and more.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is how is air connected to the way humans speak?
That's a fascinating connection. Essentially, air plays a crucial role in human speech because our vocal cords vibrate as air passes through them. The flow of air from our lungs is what generates sound waves, and the way we shape our mouth, tongue, and lips modifies those sound waves into distinct speech sounds. So, in short, air is the medium that allows us to produce and modulate speech.
Okay, nice answer. Please give me a long and explain answer of every one question. So my next question to you is why is breathe important for producing sound?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to dive deeper. Breathing is fundamental for producing sound because it provides the necessary airflow that powers vocalization. Without a steady and controlled breath, it would be impossible to maintain vocal tone, volume, or clarity. Plus, the rhythm and depth of our breathing help shape the nuances of speech, making it clear and expressive. It's really at the core of how we communicate effectively.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is uh, how does air help in forming different words?
Great question. Air helps in forming different words by varying the airflow and the way we shape our vocal tract. For example, different consonants and vowels are produced by altering the position of the tongue, lips, and the flow of air. For instance, plosive sounds like P or T are made by blocking and then releasing air, while fricatives like F or S involve a narrower airflow that creates friction. So the combination of airflow and articulation is what creates the diversity of sounds in speech.
Nice answer. So my next question to you is what role does breathing play in strong communication?
Breathing plays a central role in effective communication because it helps regulate our voice's volume, clarity, and pacing. Proper breath control allows us to speak more smoothly, avoid running out of air mid-sentence, and convey emotions more effectively. It also helps in managing stress and anxiety, making communication clearer and more confident. Overall, breathing is a foundational element for clear and effective verbal expression.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is can language exist without air? Why or why not?
That's an in general, spoken language really to produce sound. So without air, it's challenging to have typical spoken communication. However, there are forms of communication that don't rely on airflow, like sign language, which uses hand gestures and facial expressions. Additionally, some people use techniques like esophageal speech or other methods that rely on different mechanisms. But for the typical spoken language we're familiar with, air is definitely essential.
Okay. Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does controlled breathing improve speaking skill?
Helps improve speaking in a few key ways. First, it allows for a steady and consistent voice, which makes speech clearer and more pleasant to listen to. It also helps in maintaining a steady pace, reducing the likelihood of rushing or trailing off. Plus, controlled breathing can help manage vocal strain, allowing you to speak for longer periods without getting tired. Overall, it leads to more confident, dynamic, and effective communication.
Okay. Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how do poets use breathe to create rhythm in poetry?
Absolutely. Breathing is super important for maintaining vocal health, helping you produce a clear, strong voice, and preventing strain, a fatigue. It also plays a role in emotional expression and in making sure that your speech is well paced and easy to understand. If you have any other questions, just let me know.
Okay, nice. So my next question to you is, how does air support singers when they perform?
Great question. For singers, air is absolutely fundamental. They rely on controlled breath support to sustain notes, achieve a rich tone, and to maintain vocal stamina. Proper airflow helps them control pitch, volume, and dynamics, and it also allows them to execute techniques like vibrato or falsetto more easily. Good breath control also helps prevent strain and keeps their voice healthy during long performances. Overall, air is like the fuel that powers a singer's voice.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, why do public speakers focus on breath exercises?
Public speakers often focus on breathing exercises because it helps them maintain a calm, steady voice, reduces nervousness, and ensures that they have enough breath support for clear and powerful delivery. Good breath control helps them avoid running out of air mid sentence, keeps their voice steady and confident, and allows them to project their voice more effectively. Ultimately, it really enhances their overall presence and helps them communicate more effectively with their audience.
Okay, nice answer. So
I'm glad that helped. If you have any more questions or if there's anything
my
else you'd
next
like to,
question to you is, how is air used to express emotion in speech?
that's a really interesting aspect. Air and breathing are key to expressing emotion in speech because the way we control our breath affects our tone, volume, and pace. For instance, excitement or happiness often comes with a more energetic, faster breathing pattern. All sadness might be reflected in slower, more subdued breathing. Even things like breathlessness can convey urgency or fear. So the way we use air really helps us add emotional depth to our words.
Okay, nice answer. Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does breathe affect the tone of your voice?
Absolutely. The way we breathe directly influences the tone of our voice. When we take deep, steady breaths, we can produce a fuller, richer tone. On the other hand, shallow or uneven breathing can lead to a weaker, more strained tone. Breath control helps us maintain consistent resonance and clarity, which in turn affects how our voice sounds to others. So the more controlled and mindful our breathing, the more pleasant and robust our vocal tone will be.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you. Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, why do we pause to breathe while talking?
That's a great question. We naturally need to breathe while talking because speaking requires a continuous flow of air to keep our vocal cords vibrating and maintain a clear sound. Without regular breaths, our voice would fade or become strained. Also, breathing helps us manage the rhythm and pacing of our speech, allowing us to pause naturally and emphasize certain points. It's all part of keeping our voice strong and our speech clear.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, How does deep breathing help reduce nervousness during speech?
Absolutely. Deep breathing is a fantastic tool for calming nerves before speaking. It helps activate the body's relaxation response, reducing anxiety and helping to steady the heart rate. When we take slow, controlled breaths, it also helps us focus our mind and maintain a steady voice. This way, deep breathing can significantly reduce the feeling of nervousness and help us communicate more confidently and clearly.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how do different language use breathing differently?
That's a fascinating topic. Different languages often have unique rhythms, speech patterns, and sounds that influence how breathing is used. For example, tonal languages like Mandarin Chinese rely on precise pitch and often have shorter, more frequent breaths. On the other hand, languages like French or Italian might have more fluid, continuous speech patterns that allow for longer phrases between breaths. Additionally, some languages use more consonant clusters, which can affect breathing patterns, while others might have more vowel heavy sounds that allow for more fluid breathing. Overall, the structure and phonetics of each language definitely shape how we use our breath when we speak.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question. Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does air help in pronouncing difficult sound?
Great.
Can you please continue with your answer?
Of course. So air helps in pronouncing difficult sounds by providing the right amount of pressure and flow to shape the vocal cords and the articulators like the tongue and lips. For example, plosive sounds like P or T rely on a burst of air to create that sharp, clear sound. Similarly, fricative sounds like F or S need a controlled airflow to create that friction. By managing our breath, we can ensure that these sounds come out clearly and accurately, even when they're challenging. It's all about the right balance of airflow and articulation.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question. Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does air help? How does fast breathing make speech unclear?
Great question. Fatty breathing can actually make speech feel a bit rushed and light controlled. When we breathe quickly, it can lead to shorter, more fragmented sentences, and sometimes it can make it harder to enunciate clearly. It can also create a sense of urgency or anxiety in the speech, which might make it harder for the listener to follow along. On the other hand, controlled breathing helps maintain a steady pace and clarity, making the speech more comfortable and easier to understand. So slower, more controlled breathing tends to lead to clearer and more effective speech.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how do voice actors use breathe to bring life to character?
That's a wonderful question. Voice actors really rely on breath control to bring characters to life. They use their breathing to add emotion, depth, and nuance to their performances. By controlling their breath, they can create a wide range of vocal effects, from soft whispers to powerful shouts. They also use breath to shape timing and pacing, which adds realism and authenticity. Overall, breath control is essential for delivering expressive and dynamic performances in voice acting.
Okay, nice answer. So, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does breathing help teachers speak for longer hours?
That's a great question. Proper breathing is essential for teachers because it helps them maintain a consistent, strong voice throughout long periods of teaching. By using diaphragmatic breathing, teachers can reduce vocal strain and fatigue, which means they can speak more clearly and comfortably for extended periods. Good breath control also helps in projecting the voice, so teachers don't have to strain or raise their voice too much. Overall, it helps keep the voice healthy and makes teaching more effective and sustainable.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how is breath connected to storytelling?
That's a wonderful question. In storytelling, breath control really adds depth and emotion. By modulating breathing, storytellers can create tension, suspense, or calmness, making the narrative more engaging. For example, slower, deeper breaths can convey calmness or intimacy, while quick, sharp breaths can build excitement or anxiety. In essence, breath helps set the pace, tone, and emotional texture of the story, drawing listeners deeper into the narrative.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does breathe slow confident while speaking?
That's a great question. Slow, controlled breathing definitely helps build confidence because it calms the nervous system and helps maintain a steady, clear voice. When you breathe deeply and steadily, it helps you speak more deliberately and with greater control, reducing any shaky and rushed tendencies. It also gives you a moment to gather your thoughts, which leads to clearer and more confident speech. Over time, this practice really strengthens your overall presence and voice.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, uh, how does breathe show confidence while speaking?
Absolutely. When you breathe deeply and steadily, it naturally calms your nerves and helps you maintain a steady, strong voice. This steady breathing makes you sound more composed and confident, and it also helps you project your voice clearly and audibly. Plus, when you're not gasping for air or feeling out of breath, it shows that you're in control, which really boosts your confidence. Overall, breathing well helps you sound more confident and trustworthy in your speech.
For marketing purpose or not? Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does stress affect our breath while speaking?
That's a great question. When we speak too quickly, we often don't give ourselves enough time to breathe properly, which can lead to shallow breathing and even a bit of strain on the voice. By slowing down our speech and incorporating intentional pause. Absolutely. That's a perfect way to put it. Of course. So by slowing down our speech and intentionally adding pauses, we give ourselves the space to breathe more deeply and comfortably. This not only helps maintain a clear and strong voice, but it also makes our speech more engaging and easier for the listener to follow. It's definitely a great way to reduce stress while speaking. Let me know if you'd like to dive deeper into any aspect.
Nice answer. So my next question is, can lack of air impact the meaning of art?
For sure.
Please
The
continue
level
with
of
the answer. Hey ChatGPT,
Of course. So
continue with the
the
answer.
level of breathing. No worries at all. I'm happy to continue whenever you're ready. Just let me know what you need, and I'm here to help.
Nice. Nice. My next question to you is, how do wind instruments show the power of air in communication?
That's a really interesting question. Wind instruments rely on airflow to produce sound, and the way air is controlled and directed can shape the tone, pitch, and dynamics. Similarly, in communication, our breath and airflow help modulate our voice, adding nuance and emotion. In both cases, the quality is a neat parallel between music and speech.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does emotion change our breathing while talking?
That's a great question. Emotion really. Absolutely. Emotion can significantly influence our breathing patterns while talking. For example, when we're excited or happy, our breathing tends to become faster and more energetic. In contrast, when we're nervous or sad, our breathing more.
Hello, ChatGPT, can you hear me?
Each ultimately, our emotions and breathing are closely intertwined, and that dynamic really shapes how we communicate.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, why does laughter depend on air movement?
That's a great question. Laughter really relies on the movement of air because it's essentially a vocalization that comes a burst of air passing through the vocal cords. When we laugh, we typically exhaling in short rhythmic bursts, and the air movement helps create the distinctive sound of laughter. Additionally, the way we control our breath can influence the intensity and the duration of laughter, making it sound more genuine or more subdued. In essence, air movement is at the heart of how laughter is produced and experienced. Absolutely. I'm glad you found it interesting. If you have any more questions or if there's anything else you'd like to explore, just let me know. I'm always here to help.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does crying affect our speech and breathe? Okay,
That's a really poignant question.
continue with your answer.
Of course. So crying can definitely impact both speech and breathing. When we cry, our breathing often becomes more irregular with shorter, more labored breaths. This can lead to a trembling voice, a quivering tone, and sometimes difficulty in forming words. Emotionally, crying can also cause pauses and breaks in speech, making it more fragmented. Overall, crying really highlights the deep connection between our emotions, our breath, and how we communicate.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does air transform silence into meaningful language?
That's a fascinating topic. In silent instruments like wind instruments, the air is what brings them to life. The musician's control over the airflow, its speed, pressure, and volume determines the pitch, tone, and dynamics of the sound. Similarly, in communication, the way we modulate our breath can shape the nuances of our speech, from subtle inflections to powerful expressions. In both cases, air is the vital medium that transforms silence into sound. Absolutely. I'm glad you found it interesting. If you have any more questions or anything else you'd like to dive into, just let me know. I'm always here to help. No problem at all. Whenever you have more questions or just want to chat, I'm here. Just let me know. And
My next question to you is, how does breath help in learning new language?
that's a great question. Breath plays a crucial role in learning to play an instrument, especially wind instruments. Proper breathing techniques help produce a steady, controlled airflow, which is essential for achieving good tone quality and intonation. It also helps with endurance, allowing musicians to practice for longer periods without getting fatigued. Ultimately, good breath control can improve both the precision and the expressiveness of the music, making the learning process more effective and enjoyable.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, how does air shape accents and dialects?
That's a really intriguing question. Air plays a fundamental role in shaping both sound and silence. For instance, in speech and music, the flow of air determines the tone, pitch, and volume of the sound we produce. On the other hand, silence or the absence of air movement creates moments of stillness that can highlight the sounds around us. In essence, the balance between air and silence is what gives richness and depth to communication and music.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is, why do speakers sound speechless while presenting?
That's a great question. Learning to produce sounds with precision is essential because it helps in achieving clarity and effective communication, whether in speech or music. When we focus on precise sound production, it ensures that our message is clear and easily understood by others. It also helps build confidence and credibility, and it allows for more expressive and nuanced communication. Ultimately, the precision in sound production makes interactions more meaningful and effective.
Okay. Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you is why does why is breathing called the soul of speech?
That's a beautiful way to put it. Breathing is often called the soul of speech because it's the fundamental element that gives life and vitality to our words. It shapes our tone, our volume, and our pacing, and it allows us to convey emotion and intention. Without proper breath control, speech can sound weak or unclear, but with mindful breathing, we can communicate more effectively and expressively. In that sense, breathing truly is the essence and the soul behind our speech.
Okay, nice answer. So my next question to you, so my last question to you is, how does breath give life, power, and emotion to language? Please give me a long explanation.
Absolutely. I'd love to dive deeper into that. Breath is truly foundational to how we communicate and express ourselves. At its core, breathing provides the energy and support needed to produce sound. When we inhale deeply, we fill our lungs with air, and this air is then controlled and released to create vocal vibrations. The depth and control of our breath directly influence the quality of our voice, whether it's strong, clear, and resonant, or soft and gentle. Moreover, breath is closely linked to emotion. When we're excited or passionate, our breathing tends to become more dynamic and forceful, imbuing our words with energy and intensity. On the other hand, when we're calm or reflective, our breathing becomes slower and more measured, and that lends a sense of calm and sincerity to our speech. In addition, breath control allows us to manage the rhythm and pacing of our words. Pauses, for instance, can be powerful. They give listeners time to observe what's being said, and they can add dramatic effect or emphasize certain points. Ultimately, breath is the bridge between thought and expression. It enables us to convey not just the literal meaning of our words, but also the emotional nuances and the passion behind them. In this way, breath truly is the soul of language, giving it life, power, and emotion.
रोना नहीं है, रोना नहीं है. So thank you for conversation with me on this topic. So Allah Hafiz.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure to chat with you. If you ever have more questions or just want to talk again, don't hesitate.
So viewers, it is about today's call. Any I hope you like to meet you in another call. Any for that time, Allah Hafiz, Pakistan, Zindabad.